Hi, I'm Lowell Joseph Gallin, and our guest for this interview is Alex Maestrovoi. Alex, thanks for being a guest on our show. Alex is my friend of many years here in Israel. He is a Russian Jewish journalist who made aliyah to Israel from Russia how many years ago?
How many? 25 years ago already.
25 years ago.
Yes.
I came to Israel with my wife and our two girls 20 years ago on April 1st, April Fool's Day, 1992. So Alex has seniority. He's been here longer than me. So we are going to be talking today about a book, let me just have this for a second, a book that Alex has written, Atlántida, The Mystery of the Lost Tribes. Here's the book. There'll be links in the description section accompanying the interview.
It was published on Amazon site. Yes.
It was published on Amazon. And the subject of the book is the strange fact that as the years go by, more and more people around the world are claiming they're our relatives. Now normally, if I wouldn't claim that I'm your relative if I didn't like you. So we have all these people around the world. Alex is going to tell us a little bit about them, and the numbers are increasing each year, who are claiming they're related to Jews in the land of Israel, and that they're somehow part of the 12 tribes of Israel. Alex, what can you tell our viewers about this unusual phenomenon? And why is it increasing? Where is this coming from?
Okay, it's a very unusual phenomenon, as you said, and you speak with a lot of people. It was unbelievable. I spoke with many people, serious people, like Rav Avichail, who made researches during a lot of years, with Professor Lowell from Jewish University in Jerusalem, with some people like Navras Afridi from India that made researches on this issue too. And in many people, in Rav Meir Tokvair from Japan, for example, and I wrote letter and get answer from some other researchers like Arimasa Kubo from Japan. So, picture is very interesting. Some people invert Pushtun people and people that live in India, like Bnei Menashe, they call themselves, near borders Burma and India, and perhaps some kind of Japanese people in China. They think that they belong to lost tribe of Israel. Why? Because according to these researchers, there is a lot of similar things, and these things, these customs, traditions, they don't like to traditions and customs and rituals of other people that live in this area. For example, this Shelvovile, she wrote that some people, tribes, Pushtun tribes, she spoke with them, they preserve some customs that were like to customs of Jewish, ancient Jews, in relation to food, to Shabbat, candles Shabbat. They have candles in Shabbat. They know that they are Jews, but they don't want to tell this publicity, not to have some problems with the other Muslims. And the Muslims tribe near them, they don't have such customs. It's a very interesting thing.
Let's distinguish here between two global movements underway now. There are people who are in Spain, in southern Italy, in Portugal, in various parts of the world, especially the Spanish-speaking world, who are publicly speaking out about their Jewish ancestry, which comes from the expulsion of Jews from Spain and Portugal from 1492 to the year 500, and Jews either converted to Catholicism and or pretended to convert to Catholicism, became conversos, where they practiced Judaism in secret in one form or another. That there are more and more people, especially throughout the Spanish-speaking world, who are coming forth publicly and saying, I am of Jewish ancestry. This is also happening now in the last decades in southern Italy, say south of Rome and Naples. More and more people are saying, I have Jewish ancestry. Now these are from Jews, as in Alex and I are Jews, from the tribe of Judah.
Yes,
That's different from the 12 tribes of Israel, where you have people such as the Pashtun, the Pathans in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and other parts of the world saying, we are from various tribes, the so-called Jews of Ethiopia, the Falashas, claim descent from the tribe of Dan, which is one of the lost 10 tribes. So there's two groups here. One, you have the Jewish expulsion after the first and second revolts, especially after the second revolt, which was suppressed by the Roman Emperor Hadrian, 135 CE, I think, about 2,000 years ago. And the Jews in the land of Israel were dispersed all over the Roman Empire, which already had Jews over the Roman Empire. I think at that time 10% of the Roman Empire claimed the Jewish religion as their religion. That's a tremendous number. And then you have, from the lost tribes of Israel, from the expulsion of the 10 tribes under the Assyrian rulers that took place in several waves. So those are two separate phenomena. Does your group deal with all of those, or only the lost 10 tribes?
I can tell you that most attention I paid to people that think about themselves that they belong to lost tribes of Israel. I mean, this is Bnei Menashe in India. I mean Pashtuns in Afghanistan and India too. I mean some kind of people in Japan. I wrote about them a lot, but I made some kind of research, I cannot tell, but articles I wrote about this. People that you say belong to perhaps Spain and Chester, you know, that now live in Latin America. Okay, one moment. סליחה, אתה יכול לחבק את זה?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I could, but we want to go on with the show. You want a glass of water?
Yes, of course. Okay. Okay, so I will go on.
Right.
Okay. So in
You mentioned Central and South, Mexico, Central and South America,
No.
Spanish-speaking countries.
I wrote
You're
article
dealing with
for
them.
example. Yes, I wrote article for example about people from Peru. This is people that call themselves Bnei Moshe. We don't know how do they get some information about Jewish ancestry. We don't know about them. But I speak with one of them. He is living in settlement along Shvut.
You want a glass of water?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
Okay.
he's come here to the land of Israel. He lives in
He came here from Peru. And he was born in Christian family, who is Catholic himself. And after it, he began to read a Bible. And he began to understand that truth religion is Judaism. And he and other people from this place try to find some roots. Why it is so interesting for them to learn Judaism and Jewish tradition. And they came to some kind of point that they decided to get Judaism, להתגייר בעברית, to be Gallin.
Did they claim any Jewish ancestry, or they converted to Judaism?
They converted. They converted to Judaism, and now a larger group of them, Bnei Moshe, they live in Israel.
From Peru?
From Peru, yes, from Peru.
So Alex is talking now about three groups of people. You have people around the world, such as certain groups in Japan or the Igbo in Nigeria, who claim they are from the lost tribes of Israel. You have people of Jewish descent, primarily in the Spanish-speaking world, who are coming publicly to say, my great-grandmother lit candles and I am of Jewish ancestry, such as the former president Cardozo of Brazil. And you're talking about a third group now, which is an increasing number of people around the world who don't claim they're descended from Jews and don't claim they're descended from lost tribes, who decide they want to join the house of Israel, and they go through conversion to Judaism. So there's three groups, and all three groups are increasing.
Yes. There are many groups. First of all, we should say that there are a lot of groups. There are groups which we call them lost tribes of Israel, people that were captured by Ashur king, and after it we don't know exactly what happened with them. Perhaps, and according to these researches, these go to the east, to Asia, to India, to China, to other places. This is first group. But there is other versions. Some, according to some version, and I wrote about it, it is such of this group. They go to the west too, not only to the east. They will go to Europe, and they came to England, to Finland, to Scandinavia, and assimilated with local tribes.
This is one line of tradition. There are groups that claim that.
Yes, this
in
kind of tradition.
We're descended from lost tribes too.
Yes, this is lost tribe too, and some people think, researchers. For example, I made interview from Finland researcher. He is living in Finland, and one moment, her name.
Are there groups in, let's take Europe and Scandinavia, are there groups in almost every European and Scandinavian country that claim descent from the lost tribes?
Yes, for example, this author, researcher, Tuula Henneli-Ikonen, she is living in Finland.
Right.
And she describes a lot of customs in local customs, Finnish customs,
right,
that very look like to Jewish countries, Jewish customs. And these traditions are very different from other traditions of customs of other Finnish people. So he thought and tried to convince that some kind of groups of Finnish people have Jewish ancestry in Finland. It's a very interesting phenomenon.
When you say Jewish, do you mean Israelite from the lost tribes, or Jewish
yes,
as in
yes,
the Jews that we know from the diaspora of the
yes,
last 2,000 years
yes,
in Europe?
Yes. So I made interview and excuse me.
Are they claiming that they are descended from the tribes expelled by the Assyrians that somehow ended up going through the Caucasus or across the into southern Europe?
There is a lot of versions. A lot of versions.
Oh, so I see.
Yes, and we don't know what exactly. Some version are truth, some not. What kind of version is believable more, what not. I spoke with, perhaps you know him, John Halley.
Right.
That John Halley.
Yes.
John Halley, he convinced that some kind of nations in West, Celts and some English people, they ancestors from Jewish tribes too.
Right. And then you have also in Finland, you have people who say, my great-grandfather was a Jewish soldier in the Russian army. There was conscription, and that actually is there are a number of those who, and they stayed in Finland after the Russian Empire collapsed and Finland became independent. Wait, Finland, was it independent? I don't
Finland,
know.
yes. Finland was part of Russian Empire.
And was not independent. The
It
Russian,
wasn't independent. It was part of Russian Empire
up until the
before October Revolution,
the Bolshevik.
Bolshevik Revolution.
And
yes.
then they got their
And
independence.
after independent, yes. And if you know Mannerheim, it don't belong to this team, but Mannerheim is made practically all to defend his Jewish people in Finland.
General Mannerheim.
Mannerheim,
Right,
yeah.
in World
yes,
War II.
Yes, yes. So, but it's other issue. So we spoke about Jewish group. This is only one group. I mean, last tribes. But there is other groups. Before, for example, first temple, there was some kind before and after in this period, some kind of Jewish group that went to the east too and try to find some safe place. They go to India and they live in I think Cochin or some other towns in India. Third group that we said is a group that belong to Spain culture, that their ancestor was Marans, and that they try to escape from Spain to America, Latin and other places.
I have a question from, you've been researching this subject for years. Do you have any thoughts about why, with the three groups, non-Jews converting to Judaism, people of Jewish ancestry from expulsion from Spain and Portugal and in southern Italy, claiming that they are of Jewish ancestry, and those claiming descent from the lost tribes of Israel, why is this phenomenon increasing from year to year? And it is increasing, it doesn't get less. It's not like a fad that passes and goes away. It's a steady wave that grows. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts why that might be the case?
We cannot explain, because I spoke about Bnei Moshe from Peru.
Yeah.
Yes, and this person, he said that we don't understand why we became so interested in Jewish tradition. He practically did not know anything about Jews, and only after he began to interesting about it, he gets some information that perhaps somebody from his family escaped from Spain and belonged to Marans. That was converted, Anusim. But he came to such idea only himself. Nobody did not help him. So this came from Bifnim, from his inner world. I mean, we don't know. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand and to explain how people began to realize that they Jewish people.
This is really strange. It was always a mystery for me. How do ideas, feelings, and beliefs spread throughout history from person to person, from group to group? How do they persist? Marcel Proust, he wrote a book, I didn't read it, but I know the name of it, called The Persistence of Memory. It's supposed to be a classic. One day, when I become literate, I will read it at least in English translation, because I don't know French. I took it when I was in 6th grade for a year, but not much stuck. So, memory, it persists. It persists for groups. It persists over thousands of years. How do ideas, especially religious ideas, spread? Long before the internet, there were scriptures of the different religions. How did they spread from, how did Buddhism spread from India to China and Japan in the East? Missionaries, businessmen on caravans, all of the above. Where do these ideas live? Where are they stored? What is a collective memory? And how do these collective memories or dreams or aspirations of more and more people around the world that want to be related to Alex and me and our families, where is this coming from? I don't know, but I do know this from Alex and Shalva Weil and Nava Safridi and John Carrington Richards is the name he uses now, and other researchers, that for whatever reason, this phenomenon is increasing. Now there is a prophecy in the book of Zechariah, evangelical Christians like to quote it, and it says, it will come, in the end of days, 10 men out of the nations will grab hold of the fringes of a Jew's garment, the tzitzit, the fringes, and say, we will go with you because we have heard God is with you. Where is it that? Is it fulfillment of ancient prophecies? Who knows? But that there's an it isn't a question. It's growing from year to year. Is there any place in the world it's not growing? You find it in Asia, in Africa, in the English-speaking countries, in Europe, in Scandinavia, Russia. Is there anywhere you don't find this phenomenon? Or it's everywhere?
Practically in every parts of the world. So, for example, we can take Bnei Menashe that live on border of India and Burma. They live in this place during a lot of years, and according to them, they escaped here from China first. They live in China. After it, they tried to find some safe place in Burma, but they began to understand and to realize that the Jews, before Christian missionaries came to this place, so they did not know about anything about Judaism, about Christianity, about all tradition that connected with the Middle East, and they preserved some very interesting customs that look like to Jewish customs.
Well, we want to thank you, Alex, for we've discussed this subject before, and we will discuss it in the future. And Marvin Gaye, who was a great singer, he had a song, "What's Going On?" I don't know what's going on, but I know something is going on. And part of it you can find when you get Alex's book, Jewish Atlántida, Mystery of the Lost Tribes. We're going to include the link. And you start researching this subject, and we'll all explore together what's going on, because something is going on. And from our perspective, I think you'd agree, it's something positive. Someone wants to be our relative.
They began
be insulted
to
by
return
that.
to our country. Bnei Menashe, a lot of people, thousands of people of Bnei Menashe already returned here. So some people from Peru returned here. So this process is continued, and let's hope that it will be realized.
Alex has been here 25 years. I've been here with my family 20 years. Israel is about the size of what? New Jersey, Delaware? It's a very small
like
country
this.
with a population density of Singapore. It's very highly populated. It's one of the most international countries in the world. All you have to do is walk down the street in Israeli towns, villages, and cities, and you will see every possible ethnic group you can think of. And when you see boys and girls from these different groups in the Israeli army, they're all in the same various uniforms, the various branches of the services. And you see people who look like they come from, because they do, Burma or Russia or Poland or Scandinavia or Yemen. And they're all bound by a common nationhood here now. And you see them in these uniforms of the Israel Defense Forces, but these strangely, radically different faces.
Yes. Ali, I would like to recollect one detail that Shalva Weil spoke about. She spoke with a lot of people, Pashtuns people from Afghanistan.
You mean the Pathans? We'd say in English, they'd say Pashtun.
Pashtuns.
English would say Pathans.
I spoke in Russian, but I know exactly. Yeah. So she spoke with Pathans in in young generation of them. And they say, yes, we know that we are ancestor of Jews people. Not Jews, but Israel people.
Israelites.
Of course, they are not Zionists, and they don't like Israel, and they speak about themselves like Muslim people. You know that Patan is very strong people that fight with Soviet Army. But they say, we know that our grandfathers were Jews. So, you see, it's...
We have a basis for conversation for the 49 million. I think I've seen a suggestion the number isn't correct, but 45 to 60 million, I don't know the exact number, Pathans all over the world, half of which are in the mountains of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Alex mentions that some of them, or many of them, may be anti-Israel. That's changing. More and more Pashtun are not so anti. We're taking care of that. We are reaching out to people who claim connection with us, ancestry, and we're bringing them over to our point of view. And sometimes I have some very interesting discussions on my own Facebook page with some of these people. Yes, I know I'm your relative, but I don't like you. I'm not going to be pro-Israel. I said, yes, you will. Why? I said, because that's just the way it's going to be. And they don't know what to. I said, you belong to us. You're coming back now. You don't like it? That's your problem. They don't unsubscribe. They don't answer. I don't think they've ever heard that before. Well, they're hearing it now, and so are you. So, Alex, I want to thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to future editions of your book and future interviews about ongoing developments
Yes, I
in
hope
this
we will
amazing phenomenon.
continue to deal with
Say in Russian to Alex, spasiba, thank you, and do svidaniya to all of you.
Thank you, Ari.
And thank you for watching.
Thank you, Ari.